Okay, good morning. I am doing something a little different for you guys this morning. I'm going to do a little bit of a class for us because I know everybody is so concerned about COVID and um, what we can do naturally to help with that. I'm going to talk about the latest in my research on COVID and also some things that we can do naturally to protect ourselves. And I'm going to use several different articles and we'll explain them as I go to you. There is no reason to panic. At this time, there's just so many things we don't know, but let's talk about the things that we're pretty sure about. And so we can have the best strategies for staying safe and healthy. And also remember, a lot of what we've been doing this whole time is the best way to stay safe and healthy at any time from any virus. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is the HIV connection with COVID-19. So this happened early on that some Indian scientists had said, hey, this virus has a component of HIV in it. And then they had to walk back that study because people freaked out too much and they didn't want people to panic. It's not an airborne AIDS. It's not HIV in the air. But it does have a component to that. And I'm going to explain that to you to let you know that what they mean when they're saying that. So, coronavirus is actually more likely to bond to human cells than SARS is because of this HIV mutation. This is from an article from the South China Morning Post. And by the way, I'm going to give full credit and we'll have those links attached here. So you can go check out those articles yourself. So the new coronavirus does have an HIV-like mutation, and it helps it bind with human cells and makes it about 1,000 times as strong as a SARS virus in binding to human cells. And that's according to new research by scientists in China and Europe now. So that helps to explain how the infection has spread, but also where it came from. And this is another thing we've been tiptoeing around. Scientists know that SARS enters the human body by binding with a reception protein called ACE2 on a cell membrane. So early studies suggest that this new coronavirus, which shares about 80% of the genetic structure of SARS, might follow a similar path, but the ACE2 protein does not exist in large quantities of healthy people, and this partly helped to limit the scale of SARS back in 2002 and 2003, which infected about 8,000 people around the world. The other highly contagious viruses like HIV and Ebola target an enzyme called furin, which works as a protein activator in the human body. Many proteins are inactive or dormant when they're produced and have to be cut at specific points to activate their various functions. When looking at the genome sequence of this new coronavirus, a professor and his team at Nankai University found a section of mutated genes that did not exist in SARS, but were similar to those found in HIV and Ebola. Quote, this finding suggests that 2019 nCoV, that's the new coronavirus, COVID-19, may be significantly different from the SARS coronavirus in the infection pathway. The virus may use the packing mechanisms of other viruses, such as HIV. In this study, it says that the mutation can generate a structure known as a cleavage site, in which the new coronavirus's spike protein. What that means is the virus uses the outreaching spike protein to hook on to the host cell. It's got a spike to it, and it's going to hook onto the host cell. But normally this protein is inactive, but not in COVID, right? The cleavage site structure job is to trick the human furin protein so it will cut and activate the spike protein and cause a fusion of the viral and cellular membranes. Wow. Compared to SARS, this is 100 to 1,000 times more efficient in infecting a host. Actually, in a follow-up study, a research team at another university confirmed those findings. The mutation could not be found in SARS, MERS, or, listen to this, guys, the bat coronavirus that at first was considered that original source with 96% similarity in genes. But this is not the same virus as the bat virus, guys. And it's also the reason why it's more infectious than other coronaviruses. Meanwhile, there's a study by a French scientist at Marseille University, which was published in scientific journal Antiviral Research on February 10th, also found, quote, a furin-like cleavage site that is absent in other coronaviruses. So they understand that this new coronavirus has been changing. And this is how. At first, it wasn't considered a threat at all. In fact, in China, they were telling people there's no human-to-human transmission. At first, they were telling people, just don't drink bad soup, you'll be fine. But we know that's not true now, don't we? So this is why they've been trying to use HIV-1 drugs to treat coronavirus. The Chinese researchers said that drugs targeting that furin enzyme could have the potential to hinder the virus's replication in the body. And some of the Chinese doctors who tested positive self-administered HIV drugs. You know, they took them themselves, but we don't have a study supporting that yet, of course. And also, we know that knowing now that this furin enzyme is present, it may help them figure out where the virus came from. But it's definitely what they call an unexpected insertion. So what they're tap dancing around here is there's no way, or it's very unlikely that it's very unlikely that there's just in nature, HIV and coronavirus just got together and said, hey, let's work together. This is a lab-made virus, that's what most people are saying. Okay, now, another thing, and I'm going to get to how we deal with this naturally, okay? So, take a deep breath. We need to know this stuff before I talk about the natural options here. Apparently, as many as 14% of patients who recover from coronavirus test positive again, and they can't figure out why. I'm wondering if they aren't just releasing people early, and if it isn't because of this hook. So you start to feel better, but this virus has hooked into your cells. And I'm wondering if it isn't something that patients will deal with on and off, more like a virus that's present in your body like HIV, where some things can trigger you to get sick. And I'm wondering if it's not going to stay in our bodies. And I don't want you to panic with that, but is that also the mechanism that now once you have it, you just have it forever and you have to stay very healthy? And it can be dormant in your body and then something can flare it up. That would also be like, chicken pox can flare up into shingles, or you can have herpes flare up, or HIV. We just don't know yet. But definitely so far, several patients, China's saying 14%, we don't know, can test positive again and be reinfected or be considered reinfected. So, and that may be because of what I told you earlier with the HIV connection. We just don't know yet. So, in some ways, it's like this is making us have to really take care of our health and take care of our bodies and not do things that are bad for our bodies anymore, because it could cause us, things to flare up. Maybe it's going to be a COVID flare up, Okay, so this is an interesting article that says definitely COVID-19 did not originate in the Wuhan seafood market. I think we pretty much all know that now, don't we? We also know that China's not telling the truth about everything, of course. There are different reports and have been different reports about the fact that this virus did not originate in Wuhan at the market. We don't know who patient 0 is. The first person, if we did, maybe China knows, but we certainly don't know. And so we don't believe the first person that they've admitted to tracking back definitely never ate at the Wuhan market. So the science isn't backing it up, or the reports aren't backing up that claim, So what I'm saying is, yes, this could be a lab-made virus. Does that mean we have to freak out any more than if it was a natural virus? No, we just have to stay calm and and do the best we can for our natural immunity and our overall health. I can promise, it's one of those things that if you're on the other end of it, guys, it's a joy to give your body the best, most nutritious food. It's not the joy you think you feel from eating sugar and cake and fake food, and that's a fake joy too. The feeling you have after you give your body healthy food, when you get out of the mindset, which is a fake mindset of anything healthy I'm not gonna like. When you get out of that mindset and get to real health and start really enjoying real foods, taking real care of your body, that's a greater joy than eating a piece of cake any day, I promise you. All of that other stuff, you've been brainwashed by fake marketing, selling fake products full of fake nutrients and toxins. And now's the time to get out of that. You can't play anymore. You can't play around with this anymore. All right, so let me give you some natural protection strategies against the viruses, including coronavirus. Now, because this is from Green Med Info, I want to give them full credit for this article, but they asked that I do. So this is from Saturday, February 22nd, 2020. It is written by Charles K. Benz, PhD. The article is copyrighted by Green Med Info, LLC, 2020. And I will put the link up for them for sure, because I want you to check out their website for sure. So I have to put this in my the link, but also that the work is reproduced and distributed with permission of Green Med Info LLC. And sign up for their newsletter, please, at greenmedinfo.com/greenmed/newsletter. And that link will be up, okay? And I appreciate what they do so much. Sayerji and everybody over at Green Med Info they help herbalists and naturopaths so much with actual studies and actual science behind this stuff. Okay, so let's talk about this article. This is where I want you to really take note and understand that there are things, it's not just, there's nothing we can do, everybody's going to get sick. There are things everyone can do, and I'm actually going to add on to these from what studies I've read from Green Med Info, okay? All right, so every person has multiple viruses in their body, yes. And everyone has experienced a viral infection at some point in their life, yes. In spite of this, the vast majority of people know very little about viruses and how they can protect themselves from the pain and suffering that viruses cause. So what are they? Viruses are tiny germs, much smaller than bacteria. They're made up of genetic material with an outside protein exterior. They have some very unique characteristics. 1, they're not able to make protein like some other cells. 2, they're totally dependent on their host for survival. 3, they can only reproduce while inside of a host cell. 4, a strong immune system can keep viruses from multiplying. 5, in a compromised immune system, the virus inserts its genetic material into a cell and begins to reproduce more virus in the host cell. 6, each virus has a unique shape and is attracted to a very specific organ in the body, such as the liver, lungs, or even our blood. So what are the diseases that are caused by viruses? Well, there's a long list, but here's some. Some colds, influenza, chickenpox, HIV, Lyme disease, some pneumonia, shingles, rubella, measles, hepatitis, herpes, polio, Ebola, smallpox, mumps, and Epstein-Barr. There are treatments for viral diseases, right? Viruses happen to be very difficult to treat with conventional medical approaches, of course, but a few of the more effective treatments are smallpox. There's a vaccine. HIV, a few medications have proven to be effective. Hep C, also a few medications have proven to be effective. Flu, well, this year's version of the flu vaccine, they say, is 10% effective, according to a recent study in the New England Journal of Medicine. This study suggests that the year's dominant flu virus is unique and stronger than previous strains, but we've already talked about that. You know, vaccinations for flu and measles have not been shown to be consistently effective, but some show promise for the future. These efforts deserve to be continued. However, there's several natural approaches that deserve to be mentioned. And they're supported by scientific evidence. Okay, here's some animal-caused viruses, by the way. Influenza, rabies, Ebola and Marburg, HIV 1 and 2, Newcastle disease, West Nile, Lyme disease, rabies, yellow fever, and dengue fever. Plant spread of viruses. Well, fruits and veggies can also become infected with viruses like norovirus. Norovirus contamination can occur before and after harvest from water runoff containing fecal matter or when infected humans touch the plants. Noroviruses do not grow on the plant like bacteria does. They wait until the infection is passed on to a human and then begin to multiply. Human spread of viruses. So, human-to-human contact, obviously. Skin contact, respiratory contact, fecal, oral contact, milk, and sexually contacted. So, there are some prevention and treating of viral diseases naturally that have been shown to help. Here's some examples of that. Measles. In a 2002 study, children with measles under the age of 2 experienced a reduced risk of mortality and pneumonia after taking 200,000 IU of vitamin A for 2 days. HIV. Well, in 2018, a National Institute of Health study found that low vitamin D3 promotes inflammation and deactivation of key immune system elements. So supplementation with vitamin D3 to levels between 50 and 90 milligrams can help provide excellent protection. What about colds and flu? Oh my gosh, y'all, we talk about this all the time. An April 2012 study found that low levels of vitamin D3 resulted in an increase in colds, flu, and autoimmune disease. TB and Hep C, same thing. Vitamin D3 deficiency has a strong correlation to the development of TB, Hep C as well. Polio. Well, almost 50 years ago, Dr. Frederick Klenner cured 60 people with polio by using multi-gram doses of vitamin C. How about sepsis? Well, hang on. Excuse me. Sepsis is not a virus, but it is a very dangerous infection caused by difficult to treat bacteria. Vitamin C, used as an adjunct to antibacterial protocols, have been shown to be highly effective in reducing the severity and length of a sepsis infection. What about viral pneumonia? Well, let's talk about Dr. Andrew Saul. When he became ill with viral pneumonia, his doctor offered no treatment, but he knew about the work of Dr. Cathcart, who used mega doses of intravenous vitamin C. He took 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C orally every 6 minutes and experienced dramatic relief within hours. After consuming 100,000 milligrams, he began to experience a considerable reduction in symptoms. That is huge amounts of vitamin C. Okay, so let's talk about what they suggest for coronavirus. Number 1, vitamin C. Coronavirus, exploring effective nutritional treatments. This is not our COVID, it's just a regular coronavirus, right? This article is based, oh, by the way, that's by Andrew Saul. This article is based on more than 30 clinical studies confirming the antiviral power of vitamin C against a wide range of flu viruses over several decades. Vitamin C inactivates the virus and strengthens the immune system to continue to suppress the virus. In many cases, oral supplementation of up to 10,000 milligrams a day can create this protection. Some viruses are stronger and need more milligrams. Vitamin C helps the body to make its own antioxidant, glutathione, as well as assist the body in the production of its own antiviral called interferon. If vitamin C IVs are not available, which they're not to most people, some people gradually increase their oral dose to up to, and this is excessive, guys, 50,000 milligrams daily. But you have to get your body up to that. You cannot take 50,000 milligrams all at once. your body will excrete it, if you know what I mean. But there is a thought that, 5,000 milligrams every 4 hours, if you work up to that, can be a treatment of SARS, bird flu, swine flu, or the new coronavirus. All right, vitamin D3. It helps fend off the flu, asthma attacks, according to the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition from 2010. So this was a study that used 1,200 IU of vitamin D3 during the cold and flu season. And the people who took vitamin D had a 58% reduced risk of flu. So it helps our bodies to make antibiotic protein, which kill viruses, bacteria, fungi, and parasites. And so what Dr. John Cannell did is he recommended taking 50,000 IU daily for the first 5 days of getting the flu, and then 5,000 to 10,000 IU as a maintenance dose. That's pretty high doses. The largest dose I have at the shop is 12,000 IU, so you would be taking 5 of those for the first 5 days and then going back down. Wow. All right, now here is probably one of the more controversial, but I keep seeing it again and again in these studies, colloidal silver. Silver kills viruses. This is the title from the Journal of Nanotechnology in 2005. The study found that silver nanoparticles kill HIV-1 and virtually any other virus. The study was jointly conducted by the University of Texas and Mexico University. After incubating HIV-1 virus at 37C, the silver particles killed 100% of the viruses within 3 hours. Silver employs a unique mechanism of action to kill viruses. It binds to the membrane of the virus, limiting its oxygen supply and suffocating it. It also binds to the DNA of the virus cell, preventing it from multiplying. Silver is also able to prevent the transfer of the virus from one person to another by blocking the ability of the virus to find a host cell to feed on. So colloidal silver can be used at doses of 10 to 20 ppms. A nanoparticle silver is preferred. So they also mentioned that the best defense against swine flu, bird flu, or the new coronavirus may be a few teaspoons of silver every day. Bacteria and viruses cannot develop a resistance like many other treatments can. Silver disables a vital enzyme and mechanism in pathogens, so they cannot survive. So here are the other ones that, and I have also mentioned these for sure, and these are evidence-based herbal strategies for the flu. Elderberry. I've read several studies, and I've talked with you guys about this. Definitely elderberry. They just mentioned one study published in the Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine. Calendula, which I have not studied for this, but they found that ear drops containing calendula can be effective for ear infections and flu. Astragalus root, licorice root, olive leaf. Well, I'm big on right now the olive leaf and oregano combination together, for sure. So these are just some of the natural options. But everybody could use these things that are antiviral agents that you would have in your home already. Mr. Spock loves them. So here they are. Wild blueberries, sprouts, cilantro, coconut oil, garlic, ginger, sweet potatoes, turmeric, red clover, parsley, kale, fennel, and pomegranates. So there's lots of things you can do to stay calm, stay healthy, eat the best that you can, get some of these antivirals in your diet. Here in their conclusion are some suggestions for you, and I'm going to suggest these as well. 1, Eating a plant-based whole food diet with very limited animal products. Limited. Cut out the cheese too right now, guys. It's not going to make you any healthier or help you fight any disease. Adding some nutritional supplements like vitamin C, vitamin D3. Get some colloidal silver, elderberry. Avoid toxins, of course. Get some regular exercise. Avoid stress. Manage stress with yoga or meditation. Here we are, we've been talking about it. Wash your hands with soap and water all the time. Avoid touching your face, just regular flu protocols, Avoid people who seem like they're sick. And get on this natural antiviral strategy. And don't panic. Everything's going to be okay, I promise. So here's what this is the longest one we've done so far, guys, but I really wanted you to have this information. I'm going to include the links on this so that you can read these articles yourself and share them and share this with people. If you're listening to this on YouTube, thanks. I appreciate it. I just wanted to get this info out there, so I did it as a podcast really quickly, but the links will be on there too. And subscribe, because I'm going to have some more stuff that I'm going to share with you in the next few days. It's going to be critical, very vital to know. All right, thanks. I love you guys. See you later.